Welcome to the Scenario Podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. It's great to have you with us. Today we're peeling back the layers on a topic that's really buzzing right now. This growing interest in natural and complementary ways to, manage ADHD symptoms. A lot of you are exploring how to support brain health alongside the traditional treatments, and that's exactly where we're headed. Our mission today: cut through all the noise, pull out the key insights from the sources you rely on, and give you a really clear understanding of how food supplements actually fit into managing ADHD. Think of it as your shortcut to getting informed.
Yeah, and this is such an important conversation because, we know the daily reality for people with ADHD. Those challenges with focus, impulsivity, that restless energy, it really can impact everything. Now, traditional medication is, of course, often the main approach. But what's fascinating is how the focus is broadening to include nutrition. We're realizing just how much nutrition impacts brain chemistry and, these symptoms show up. So these supplements, they aren't replacements, definitely not, but they're increasingly seen as valuable additions, things that can help enhance brain function, maybe reduce oxidative stress.
Oxidative stress, like cellular wear and tear.
Exactly, that kind of damage at the cellular level in the brain. And also support neurotransmitter activity, basically how your brain cells talk to each other to keep things running smoothly.
Okay, right. So let's unpack this then. Let's dive into the specific supplements that are getting the most attention for, potential benefits. We can start with one that folks might already know a bit about.
Absolutely. Let's kick things off with omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA. Now, these aren't just any fats. They're essential fats. Our bodies can't make them, so we have to get them from our diet, and they're, absolutely crucial for the structure and function of brain cells. Plus, they have these really potent anti-inflammatory properties. Now, the research on omega-3s and ADHD can look a bit mixed sometimes.
Yeah, you've seen that.
Right. But what's really interesting is that the impact often seems most noticeable in people who already have low levels, like a dietary deficiency. It's also where we're just topping up a vital fuel tank. And for ADHD, the type of omega-3 seems to matter quite a bit. There's some science hinting that maybe a higher EPA content could be more important for attention.
Oh, interesting. So not just any omega-3.
Exactly. It suggests a more targeted biochemical role, not just, general brain support. So when we talk about mixed results, it's often not that it doesn't work. It's more about figuring out who it works for and why. Researchers are digging into things like baseline omega-3 levels, genetics, even gut health, which might explain why some people respond really well and others not so much. It's complex. But of course, the key thing always is talk to your healthcare provider before starting any new supplement.
That makes total sense. It's not just grabbing any fish oil off the shelf. It really highlights how personal these nutritional approaches need to be. Okay, what else is showing promise?
Well, next up is zinc. Zinc supplements. What studies often find is that zinc levels can be lower in kids with ADHD compared to their peers. And why does this matter? Well, zinc is critical for regulating dopamine.
Ah, the dopamine connection again.
Right. That key neurotransmitter involved in attention, motivation, impulse control. The whole executive function suite, really. So if that dopamine system isn't tuned quite right, it can definitely contribute to ADHD symptoms. Supplementation, especially in people with a confirmed deficiency, it might offer some mild improvements in things like hyperactivity and impulsivity, but you have to be careful. Too much zinc can cause side effects like nausea, and it can actually mess with the absorption of other important minerals. So for safety, it's absolutely crucial that zinc levels are measured, under medical supervision before starting supplementation.
That's a really strong point about needing those precise levels. So, okay, follow-up question. If someone doesn't have a diagnosed deficiency, is there any point? Or could adding extra zinc actually be, unhelpful?
That's a great question. And for individuals without that confirmed deficiency, the evidence for benefit is, frankly, much weaker. And the risk of side effects from taking too much, that goes up significantly. It really drives home the point that these aren't just, harmless little vitamins. They're biochemically active. This whole idea of test, don't guess is just so important here.
Yeah, it's becoming super clear. The common thread is needing that professional guidance, the test don't guess approach, and never seeing these as some kind of magic bullet on their own. We're messing with really sensitive systems here. What about iron? That's another critical one, right?
Yes, absolutely. Iron supplementation. This one also needs a lot of careful consideration. Iron is, again, essential. It's deeply involved in brain function, specifically making dopamine and also producing myelin.
Myelin, that's the insulation around nerve fibers.
Exactly. It helps speed up nerve signals. So low iron levels or actual iron deficiency, that can really impact cognitive development and contribute to behavioral issues. We have seen benefits in kids with ADHD, particularly when they have a documented deficiency. However, and this is a really, really important warning, taking too much iron can be toxic. It can lead to organ damage. So testing iron stores, usually ferritin levels, that's the protein that stores iron, is highly recommended before even thinking about supplementing. It's definitely not for everyone and should only be considered if a deficiency is confirmed by a doctor.
Wow. It just underscores that delicate balance, doesn't it? These are powerful tools, but they need precision, they need guidance. Okay, what's next on our list for individual supplements?
The last individual one we'll focus on today is magnesium. Magnesium has gotten a lot of attention recently for its kind of calming effects, its neuromodulatory effects.
Neuromodulatory, meaning it helps tune brain signals?
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, it helps fine-tune how brain cells communicate, making sure signals aren't, too hyper or too sluggish. It's involved in like over 300 different enzyme processes that are critical for brain health and managing stress. So a deficiency in magnesium might actually contribute directly to things like restlessness, irritability, maybe even muscle tics, difficulty sleeping.
Things you often see with ADHD.
Exactly. All common symptoms. So supplementing may help promote relaxation and support better focus, especially maybe for those who also struggle with anxiety or sleep problems. But you know the drill by now.
Talk to your doctor first.
Precisely. It's absolutely non-negotiable before adding magnesium supplements.
Okay, so we've clearly laid out how individual nutrient deficiencies can play a pretty significant role. It really shows how targeted these interventions might need to be. But zooming out a bit, what about just our everyday eating habits? How does the whole diet landscape fit into managing ADHD symptoms? This is where I think it gets really interesting.
You're spot on to zoom out. Because if we connect these dots, the bigger picture is your overall diet pattern can have a huge impact on how severe ADHD symptoms are. Something that's often overlooked is that a typical Western-style diet, lots of processed foods, sugary drinks, unhealthy fats, that's actually been linked in studies to higher rates of ADHD.
Wait, really? Linked to higher rates, not just worsening symptoms?
Yeah, some research suggests a correlation there. It's not just about general health. These diets can promote inflammation throughout the body, including potentially the brain. They cause blood sugar spikes and crashes, which absolutely wreck focus. And they often lack the basic micronutrients the brain needs to function optimally. On the flip side, a diet that's rich in whole foods, lots of fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats like those omega-3s we talked about, that kind of pattern may significantly improve focus and behavior. It gives you stable energy, provides the building blocks for neurotransmitters, supports a healthy gut-brain connection. And here's the kicker. Eating that way can also make any supplements you do take work better. They perform best when they're part of that healthy, balanced foundation. They're like part of the orchestra, not a solo trumpet blast.
Wow, okay, so a standard Western diet isn't just generally less healthy, it might be actively working against someone managing ADHD, possibly even linked to higher rates. That's a really eye-opening connection for a lot of listeners, I bet. It means our food choices are way more powerful than just thinking about weight.
That's exactly right. And this idea extends to other dietary bits too, like beyond the omega-3s, other polyunsaturated fats, PUFAs like omega-6s, they've also been looked at. Research there is, well, a bit more inconclusive, honestly, partly because the studies are all done differently. But there are hints that maybe getting the ratio of EPA to DHA right within your total PUFA intake might help outcomes, especially for attention. It's still being actively investigated. And then you see studies looking at other things too, like vitamin D, B vitamins, certain amino acids, all important for brain chemistry, mood.
Right, the list goes on.
It does. But the research on these for ADHD specifically is still pretty limited compared to, say, omega-3s or the minerals we discussed. There aren't really clear treatment guidelines yet. A doctor might suggest a general multivitamin, maybe, especially if someone's diet is clearly lacking. But, and it's vital to keep saying this is a supplementary. They do not replace regular medical care or prescription medication for ADHD.
Okay, crystal clear. They're part of a bigger strategy, not the whole game plan. So with all this info, I can just hear the gears turning out there. Okay, can I just swap my meds for these supplements? That's probably a top question, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's a vital question. And the answer, pretty unequivocally, is no. Supplements should be seen as a complement, something that works alongside, not as a replacement for ADHD medication. For many people, prescription medication is still the most effective, evidence-based way to manage those core ADHD symptoms. These nutritional approaches work best when they're supporting that foundation, along with things like therapy.
Okay, working in tandem. Makes sense. But for someone thinking about integrating them, are there any other risks or pitfalls besides the deficiency warnings we covered?
Oh, definitely. There are always potential risks, especially if you take high doses or don't get medical advice first. Like we mentioned, too much iron or zinc is bad news. Even too much fish oil can cause issues, like maybe increasing bleeding risk in some people. Excessive zinc can actually block copper absorption. It just keeps coming back to testing first if possible, and always talking it through with your healthcare provider.
Right. And what about herbal supplements? You hear a lot about things like ginkgo or ginseng for focus. Do they fit into the ADHD picture?
That's another common question. Some herbs, like ginkgo biloba, ginseng, bacopa monnieri, they have been studied for cognitive benefits like focus and memory. But for ADHD specifically, the results are pretty mixed, and generally the evidence just isn't as strong or consistent as it is for some of the targeted vitamins and minerals we've discussed. And here's a really crucial caution. Herbs can interact with prescription meds in some very unexpected and potentially harmful ways. So professional guidance is absolutely mandatory before even considering them. Seriously, don't try to figure that out on your own.
Okay, noted. Herbal interactions need professional advice. Got it. And last practical question. Timing. Is there a best way to take these? Morning, night, with food?
Yeah, that really depends on the specific supplement and, honestly, the individual. For example, omega-3s, usually best with meals to help absorption. Magnesium, with its calming vibe, might be better in the evening, perhaps helping with sleep if that's a challenge. Things that might feel a bit more stimulating, like some herbs or B vitamins, are probably better taken in the morning. Best advice. Follow the instructions on the label, and you guessed it, talk to your healthcare provider. They can give personalized advice based on your schedule, your needs, everything else you're taking. And remember, patience and consistency are key here. You might not see changes overnight. It can take weeks, even months. It's definitely a journey, not a sprint.
This whole deep dive really paints a picture of just how nuanced the role of nutrition and supplements is in ADHD, doesn't it? It's clearly not about quick fixes or just swapping one pill for another. It's about, carefully building a comprehensive, really personalized plan with your medical team steering the ship.
Exactly. Food supplements can be a genuinely helpful piece of a well-rounded plan for ADHD. Nutrients like omega-3s, zinc, iron, magnesium, they can support brain health, potentially ease some common symptoms like inattention or restlessness. And it's the big takeaway, they have to be used carefully, always with professional medical guidance, always combined with a healthy, brain-supportive diet, and alongside traditional treatments. It's about optimizing everything working together.
And that brings us perfectly to our final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. This whole discussion highlights just how intricately our brain health, our focus, our mood, our stability is tied to what we eat and the nutrients we absorb. So the question it raises is, beyond just ADHD, how much more potential is waiting to be unlocked for our general cognitive well-being, our mental resilience, just through more careful, mindful nutritional choices in our everyday lives? Something to think about.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scenario Podcast. Don't forget to visit scenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.